Adhere. To stick firmly to a surface or set of principles. Laws and regulations exist to ensure individuals adhere to societal norms and maintain order. Students must adhere to the university's strict guidelines on plagiarism and academic integrity. Companies are required to adhere to environmental regulations to minimize industrial pollution. Advocate. To support or argue for a cause or policy. Many celebrities advocate for social justice, hoping to inspire meaningful change worldwide. Teachers advocate for smaller class sizes to provide better individual attention to each student. Many activists advocate for stricter environmental laws to combat climate change and pollution. Alleviate. To reduce or make something less severe. International aid was sent to alleviate the suffering of people affected by the natural disaster. To alleviate the pressure, the teacher allowed the students extra time to complete assignments. Social programs aim to alleviate poverty by providing education and employment opportunities. Assert. To state something confidently or forcefully. The historian asserted that cultural traditions influence economic practices across generations. The scholar asserted that globalization has both positive and negative impacts on cultural diversity. Protesters assert their right to free speech while demonstrating against unjust government policies. Boycott. To withdraw from commercial or social relations as a protest. In response to the unfair treatment, many consumers chose to boycott the company's services. Citizens decided to boycott elections, demanding systemic reforms and transparent governance. Environmentalists encouraged people to boycott single-use plastics to reduce pollution significantly. Broaden. To expand or widen in scope. Reading widely can help broaden your vocabulary, allowing you to express ideas more clearly. The workshop was designed to broaden participants' knowledge about emerging technologies. Online courses broaden learning opportunities, making education accessible to people worldwide. Capitalize. To take advantage of a situation or opportunity. To succeed, they must capitalize on their strengths and address their weaknesses strategically. Entrepreneurs must capitalize on opportunities to expand their business in emerging markets. The athlete learned how to capitalize on her strengths during the intense competition last week. Commence. To begin to happen, to begin something. Before you commence the project, ensure that all necessary resources are readily available. Students are required to commence their thesis work by the beginning of the second semester. Researchers must wait for approval before they can commence experiments in the new laboratory. Compensate. To make up for a loss or deficiency. The insurance policy will compensate victims for any financial loss incurred during the incident. The company decided to compensate workers for the extra hours they had worked this month. Athletes often compensate for physical injuries by focusing more on mental resilience and tactics. Condone. To accept or allow behavior that is morally wrong. Management will not condone behaviors that disrupt the workplace's harmony and efficiency. Society should never condone acts of violence, regardless of the circumstances surrounding them. Many critics argue that such lenient policies effectively condone illegal activities in the community. Consolidate. To combine or strengthen. To succeed in exams, students must consolidate their understanding of fundamental concepts. He attended every class to consolidate his understanding of the difficult mathematical concepts. Merging smaller units can help consolidate organizational efficiency and reduce operational costs. Contemplate. To consider or think about something deeply. Researchers often contemplate the ethical implications of their experimental methodologies. We must contemplate all possible outcomes before implementing the proposed plan of action. Many individuals contemplate the societal impact of rapid advancements in artificial intelligence. Delineate. To describe or outline something precisely. The architect used detailed blueprints to delineate every feature of the new building design. Maps are used to clearly delineate the boundaries between different countries and territories. The professor delineated the boundaries between theoretical and practical aspects of the subject. Deplete. To use up or consume a limited resource. Groundwater levels are being depleted faster than they can be replenished in urban areas. Excessive fishing practices have severely depleted marine resources in many coastal regions. The prolonged drought has started to deplete water reservoirs in the region, causing concern. Elaborate. To explain something in greater detail. The artist created an elaborate design, with intricate patterns and vibrant colors for the mural. His stories often include elaborate descriptions that paint vivid pictures in the listener's mind. The architect presented an elaborate plan for the building, complete with detailed illustrations. Elevate. To raise or lift to a higher position. Participation in international competitions can elevate the reputation of academic institutions. Effective leadership often elevates team morale and boosts productivity in challenging situations. Technological innovations have significantly elevated living standards in many developing countries. Endorse. To approve or support publicly. The board voted to endorse the new curriculum proposal after extensive discussion and debate. The organization decided to endorse the charity event to support local community development. Social media influencers often endorse products that align with their personal beliefs and lifestyle. Enhance. To improve the quality, value, or extent of something. Using natural lighting can significantly enhance the beauty of photographs in outdoor settings. The software update is expected to enhance the device's performance and overall functionality. The course was designed to enhance critical thinking and problem-solving skills among learners. Exacerbate. To make something worse. Overworking can exacerbate stress levels, leading to potential burnout and health problems. The lack of proper healthcare facilities exacerbates the challenges faced by rural populations. Pollution from factories continues to exacerbate global warming and environmental degradation. Exemplify. To serve as a typical example of something. The artist's latest masterpiece is said to exemplify the beauty of contemporary minimalism. This case study will exemplify how innovative thinking can solve complex real-world problems. The novel exemplifies the struggles of marginalized communities through compelling storytelling. Facilitate. To make a process easier or more efficient. Teachers use various tools to facilitate student learning, especially in virtual classrooms today. Social media platforms facilitate the rapid spread of information across diverse global audiences. These workshops are designed to facilitate collaboration among industry professionals and experts. Generate. To produce or create something. By fostering creativity, the workshop will generate innovative solutions to community problems. Creative brainstorming sessions often generate innovative ideas for solving challenging problems. Enthusiastic teachers can generate excitement for learning even in the most challenging subjects. Hamper. To hinder or impede progress. Poor infrastructure hampers economic development in many rural communities worldwide. A lack of funding can significantly hamper the progress of research and development projects. Strict regulations can hamper the growth of small businesses, particularly in developing nations. Harness. To control and use resources effectively. Researchers aim to harness artificial intelligence to improve healthcare outcomes worldwide. By harnessing data analytics, companies can make informed decisions to optimize performance. The new technology is designed to harness solar energy efficiently, reducing environmental harm. Implement. To put a plan or decision into effect. To ensure success, the organization must implement sustainable practices in all its operations. The government plans to implement stricter regulations on air pollution to protect public health. The community group worked together to implement changes that would benefit all its members. Infer. To deduce or conclude from evidence. From the data, we can infer that there is a direct correlation between education and income. By analyzing the data trends, the scientist could infer the long-term effects of climate change. The results of the experiment allow us to infer how the variables interact in real-world situations. Instigate. To initiate or provoke an action. They plan to instigate a series of reforms aimed at improving the country's healthcare system. The revolutionary leader's speech helped instigate a movement for social and political change. The new policy was designed to instigate change within the company's organizational structure. Intervene. To step in or mediate in a situation. The authorities intervene to enforce stricter environmental regulations in industrial zones. The government should intervene to address the rising rates of unemployment among youth. International organizations often intervene in humanitarian crises to provide relief and support. Legitimize. To make something lawful or acceptable. Public opinion has the power to legitimize or delegitimize the authority of political leaders. Activists argue that education reforms should legitimize the voices of marginalized communities. To gain wider acceptance, the project must first legitimize its approach through scientific studies. Lobby. To try to influence decisions made by officials. Advocates are planning to lobby Congress to pass new laws addressing healthcare affordability. Large corporations often lobby government officials to influence policy decisions in their favor. The pharmaceutical industry spends millions to lobby for drug patent protections and regulations. Magnify. To enlarge or make something seem greater. Research findings can magnify the significance of previously overlooked environmental factors. The telescope's lenses are designed to magnify distant celestial objects for detailed observation. The new legislation could magnify the positive effects of community-driven environmental efforts. Mandate. To give authority to act in a certain way. Many countries mandate recycling programs to reduce environmental waste and pollution. The university mandates students to complete an internship as part of their degree program. Health regulations mandate the use of protective equipment in hazardous working environments. Mitigate. To reduce the severity or impact of something. Emergency measures were put in place to mitigate the damage caused by the natural disaster. Strategies to mitigate climate change include reducing carbon emissions and conserving energy. Efforts to mitigate the effects of natural disasters include improved emergency response systems. Negotiate. To discuss terms to reach an agreement. Diplomats from both countries are trying to negotiate a peaceful resolution to the conflict. The company's representatives negotiated with labor unions to reach a fair wage agreement. Students should learn how to negotiate for better terms on academic projects or assignments. Nullify. To invalidate or cancel out something. The president's veto power can nullify decisions made by the legislature on specific issues. International agreements are designed to nullify trade barriers between participating countries. They sought to nullify the harmful effects of the decision by implementing corrective measures. Optimize. To make the best or most effective use of something. To improve performance, universities must optimize their curricula to meet global standards. Environmentalists are working to optimize land use to balance development and conservation. The program is designed to optimize student learning by focusing on personalized approaches. Persist. To continue firmly despite the difficulty. Scientific inquiry must persist even when faced with complex problems and limited resources. If symptoms persist for more than a week, consult a medical professional for proper diagnosis. Despite numerous setbacks, researchers continue to persist in their quest for a cure for cancer. Plagiarize. To copy someone else's work without credit. It's unethical to plagiarize even small portions of a text without proper acknowledgement. The artist was accused of trying to plagiarize designs from a well-known competitor's collection. Always cite your sources properly to ensure you don't accidentally plagiarize someone else's ideas. Postpone. To delay an event and plan at a later time. Heavy rains forced the Football League to postpone the championship game by several hours. The implementation of the new law was postponed until further consultation could take place. The board voted to postpone the decision until all members were present for further discussion. Prohibit. To formally forbid something. Smoking is strictly prohibited in all public buildings and transportation facilities within the city. Signs clearly prohibit unauthorized personnel from entering the restricted areas of the building. The park rangers strictly prohibit visitors from feeding the wildlife to preserve natural behaviors. Rectify. To correct or make something right. She promised to rectify her mistake by apologizing sincerely and making necessary amends. Engineers are trying to rectify the technical issue that disrupted the power supply yesterday. You can rectify this misunderstanding by clarifying your position during the upcoming meeting. Reinforce. To strengthen or support. Additional troops were sent to reinforce the army's position along the border during the conflict. The motivational speech was designed to reinforce the importance of teamwork and collaboration. They used steel beams to reinforce the building's foundation and improve its earthquake resistance. Retain. To keep or hold on to something. Regular revisions help students retain the information they learn over a longer period of time. Retaining key information from the meeting will be crucial for implementing the new strategy. It is crucial to retain indigenous knowledge to preserve cultural heritage for future generations. Scrutinize. To examine something closely and critically. The government plans to scrutinize environmental policies to improve their effectiveness. Researchers continue to scrutinize the data to uncover patterns and correlations in their findings. Investors were encouraged to scrutinize the startup's business plan before committing any funds. Substantiate. To provide evidence to support a claim. To gain credibility, researchers must substantiate their claims with reliable data and sources. The organization must substantiate its claim of improving social welfare with concrete results. The professor asks students to substantiate their arguments with examples from the literature. Suppress. To prevent or put an end to something. The media's role is to report the truth, not to suppress information that is in the public interest. The security forces moved swiftly to suppress the violent protests before they escalated further. Breathing exercises can help you suppress feelings of anxiety during stressful situations effectively. Terminate. To bring something to an end. The university will terminate the program unless there is a significant increase in enrollment. An unexpected power failure forced the system to terminate the ongoing operations abruptly. If performance standards aren't met, the employer reserves the right to terminate the agreement. Undermine. To weaken or damage something gradually. His constant criticism of her ideas was meant to undermine her confidence in public speaking. The new policy could undermine the effectiveness of long-established social welfare programs. Using unreliable sources in academic writing undermines the integrity of the research process. Venture. To undertake a risky or daring activity. Entrepreneurs must carefully assess the risks before they venture into new business markets. Governments must venture beyond traditional approaches to tackle complex global challenges. The explorers decided to venture into the uncharted forest, despite warnings of potential dangers. Withhold. To hold back or refuse to give. It is unethical to withhold medical treatment from patients due to financial or logistical concerns. The government chose to withhold the release of the report until further analysis was completed. The teacher advised students not to withhold their questions if they didn't understand the material. Yield. To produce or provide, to give way under pressure. Higher investment in education will yield long-term benefits for society's overall development. Political negotiations should yield solutions that benefit all parties involved and promote peace. Good soil and favorable weather conditions can yield excellent crops for agricultural communities.